Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the Frontline Changes Report for the past 24 hours. There is also a lot of frontline changes over these past 24 hours. There's frontline changes over at Uspensovka, over in the Kursk front, Nevske, Toretsk, Zelizny, Nelipivka, Krutya, Novokhodivka, Lisivka, Marinka, Seridove, and Sukurine. So we're going to go into Uspensovka first, over in the Kursk front. So for the first time in a long time, we have some updates over in the western flank of the Kursk front, where the Russians is conducting their counteroffensive. Russian forces has been geolocated in a new position. We have never seen the Russians over here. So this confirmed the Russians have taken this entire forest region. And given the fact that these are all open fields, so I draw it in a way that it makes more sense. And the Russian forces have taken new positions all the way close to the border region, close to the border between Russia and Ukraine. So this marks a pretty interesting change of the front line, but it doesn't change the situation tactically or strategically per se, because this is just another forest, that's all. But there's a lot of forest around here, so just a small change. So this is Uspensovka. This is still disputed. No one knows whether it's Russian or Ukrainian per se. The Russians have taken this position in this front line change. So that's all for this area here. The next frontline change is over at Nevske. So at Nevske, over in the Svetove front, we have geolocation of Ukrainian forces within the northern part of Nevske, invalidating Russian claims that they have taken everything in between Nevske and Makiivka. So this is Makiivka, this is Nevske. So I have marked this this area here as under Ukrainian control, because I'm quite sure that the Ukrainians have much more larger control around here, and largely because this is just Russian claims. So no, most likely it's just going to be wrong, because there is no evidence to show that they have firm control over all these areas here. The next frontline change is over at Toretsk. We jump all the way to the New York front. At Toretsk, the Russian forces have made advances within the city of Toretsk. Russian forces geolocated in a new position, this time round in the suburbs, in the center of Toretsk. So if I zoom in a bit, you can see that the Russian forces geolocated along this road in the Marinka street, and this confirmed that the Russian forces have made some advance around these areas here of Toretsk. So there is looking at the Ukrainian mapping, the gray zone also extended around here. So there's a high chance that the Russians also have made progress along the high-rise zone. So there is some major changes, I think, in the near future that we're going to see in the Toretsk, Battle of Toretsk. The amount of footages and information coming out from this area is surprisingly low, given that this is such a major battle, because this is a major city. So yeah, so it's just surprised that there's just so little things that is coming out from this area here. If I'm not wrong, Toretsk is about the same size as Bakhmut. Yeah, it's about the same size as Bakhmut. So it's a surprise, so little coverage is being done on the Battle of Toretsk. So after Toretsk, we have frontline change over at Zelizny. So this is a geolocation. This south of Toretsk, in the forest region just off Zelizny. The Russian forces has been geolocated in the forest, so this confirms just some slight advance within the forest region. This is a small change, not important per se. And there is also updates over in the New York Nelipivka region. So according to the Ukrainian mapping, they have said that the Russians may advance, but they say that the Russians have taken the eastern part of Nelipivka, and they also considered a little bit of New York. Yeah, so this is what the Deep State UA have mapped, which is underwhelming, because considering that the battles is no longer being reported in these areas here. If you look at the Russian and the Ukrainian defense ministries, both are talking about battles north of Nelipivka. The battle is no longer being reported at Nelipivka. The battles are now over at Leonidivka and Skibinivka. So the latest report in the yesterday's SIPREP, we can see that the reports are both already way past Nelipivka. And Leonidivka and Skibinivka clearly shows a clear line of a clear front line region. So Leonidivka is very in the rear position as of now. So yeah, so this parallel universe is perilous, to say the least. So the next frontline change, we jump all the way to the Pokrovsk front. So just now we were here, so now we go to the Pokrovsk front. At the Pokrovsk front, there is some major updates around this Khodivka, Novokhodivka region. So the Russian forces have continued to make advance around the Mykolaiivka, Krasnaya, Krutia region, as well as there is new updates about the Russians pushing towards Sukiya and Lysivka. So let's zoom in a bit. So over in this area, Mykolaiivka, Krasnaya, Krutia region, the Russian forces expanded their control along the main road and moving up north of this hill. So Russian forces pushing up north from Novokhodivka, they have almost, if not fully, captured Krutia by this moment, and they also expanded their control along the main road from Mykolaiivka stretching down to Krutia in Krasnaya, and they have secured the south of Mykolaiivka. So the Russians continue to make this advance, and it looks like the Ukrainians is probably soon to concede the loss of Krutia very soon. I don't think it's holdable anymore because of the pincer that could potentially appear in the near future. So the Krasnaya is going to be abandoned, and I think Mykolaiivka still can be defended along the this forest line here. So I think Krasnaya is about to be abandoned at this moment. So this is the likely situation at this sector. So nearby, the Russian forces move off from Novokhodivka towards Lysivka and Sukiya. Russian forces geolocated to be attacking this tree line, confirming Russian advance through the farmlands, and they are now heading towards Lysivka or Sukiya or at the same time. So Sukiya sounds like a Japanese restaurant. I'm quite sure that it's tasty. In Singapore, there's a Sukiya. It's served, I think the beef don, the cheese beef don, super nice to eat. So yeah, so maybe the Russians need to eat some Japanese food here. So this is what's currently happening around at this area here in the Pokrovsk front. So yeah, and then over at Marinivka, the Russian forces, according to Ukrainian mapping, have taken most of Marinivka. They are about to fully capture it. According to the Ukrainian mapping, they draw this area, this southern part, as a gray zone. Because they don't want to concede that they have lost this town already. So, but yeah, we just follow through, and we shall see how this develop. Clearly, this pincer is obvious. So Ukrainian forces, I don't think they will be inside this salient. This is just cope. So, but whatever it is, this is the massive frontline change over at Marinivka, south of Novokhodivka, and over at Selidove. So okay, let's look at this in a very general term first. In this salient, the Russians have made this punch from the north of Ukraine, and then I mentioned that they can hit north or south. So the Russians have two mouths; they want to eat both cakes. So they hit north, and they hit south at the same time. So very 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 interesting that they hit both in both directions. So anyway, in the northern direction towards Selidove, the Russian forces has been geolocated along the Gali region, and this time round, they are within striking distance of Selidove. The distance between the settlement and the front line is less than half a kilometer. So it's less than half a kilometer from this farmland, this farm over here. So which means that the Russians is poised to attack Selidove from an entirely new angle, and this will aid the Russian forces as they try to push from Mikhailivka. So now they'll have two vectors of attack. I think Selidove will be in deep trouble. So this is one area. The Russians also moving south towards Sukerine, with the Russian forces taking most of the heavy entrenchment north of Sukerine, and this will allow the Russians to now attack directly into Sukerine. The distance between the front line to the settlement is around 1 kilometer, 900 meters to be exact. So yeah, so that's the frontline change also around here. Very, very interesting. And it no longer look very obscene right now. So because it's now have a head, there's a horn, and it looks like a chicken. Yeah, it's a cock, male chicken. So anyway, I think that's it. So these are all the frontline changes over the past 24 hours. Thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next update.